got a big yawn. Okay, let's see. That's off. That's off. That's off. That's on. That appears to be live. Alright, let's go. Hello! Shadowcat back with more of Starfinder 2nd Edition. I'm looking forward to today. Now that we've gotten through a lot of the harder stuff, we're starting to settle into kind of a rhythm. I mean, the first day we were here, we barely touched what, a first level mechanic was, and then last time we got through 2 levels. Today I'm expecting at least 4, okay? I'm expecting exponential growth here. We did 1, we did 2, we do 4, and then the next week after, we do 8. Except that and 8 would be perfect. 8 would get us exactly where we need to be, so, we're good. No, it wouldn't. Because we go from level 1 to level 3 to level 7. Point is we'd be done. That's the point. So, looking forward to that today. We're not going to waste a whole lot of time here, just rambling on. I see that Blizz is in already. Hello, Blizz. Good to have you here. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into things. So, as usual, if you're here and you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do that. Hit the bell icon. That way you get notified, even though I send out notifications myself. If you like or you know somebody else who also plays tabletop, specifically, Pathfinder, Starfinder, then share this video with them. Otherwise, though, if you just like me, like what I do, leave a like on the video, leave a comment down below. But if you're going to leave a comment down below, might I suggest you go ahead and just join us on our Discord, because we have one of those. It's where we play games. If you'd like to play games with us, please join the Discord. Go to the Behind the Screen channel, let me know what game you want to play, and when you're available, and I will try to set something up. We already have a Star Trek game that's been in progress for a long time, but that's good because I like long stories. And I'm trying to set up a Warhammer 40k game, and I still need one more person for that. Still need one more. So, if that's your thing, go ahead, let me know in the Discord. Otherwise, we're going to get into it. So, as usual, we're going to need to have our browser. We'll need to have our spreadsheet. I was looking over the cybernetics after the stream last week, and the cybernetics list is really disappointing. I mean, it is super disappointing. Like I said in the last stream, though, I believe that it would not be that hard to simply port over much of the cybernetics from first edition. And also with the Tech Core rulebook coming out in October, which I don't know when I'm going to get to see that one, but I mean, when it comes out, I'm hoping that it's going to add more to the cybernetics list. Because the cybernetics list in first edition was long. There was a lot. You had choices. And choices are good. And so far, I mean, there's not been a whole lot in the way of chat, so, or in the way of choices, so there's it's not good yet, okay? It's a good foundation there. It's not good yet. But it's fine. So, what did we do last time? Well, like I said, last time we got through levels 2 and 3. So, for level 2, we went over skills pretty extensively, looking for what new skills there are and what's good to take. And what I've kind of settled on is I'm kind of developing an agility build. Since I have decent acrobatics, actually really good acrobatics, decent athletics, I'm taking more and more acrobatics feats. So for my ancestry feat, we got land feat first, and that gave us catfall automatically, so I get to treat falls as better and we never land prone. I also got steady balance to avoid falling at all, which is great. And level 3 we got prescient planner because it's just generally good. I mean, free item. Well, not necessarily free. It's not free, but if you need something, chances are you can probably have it. As for everything we're getting with our class, at the second level we got another feat, so I put that into the drone. So now the drone has grounded, which means it's no longer vulnerable to electricity. Which, you know, is just kind of my design philosophy. You don't have to be the strongest necessarily, so long as you're the most robust. No weaknesses. It's the same thing that I did when I was, you know, putting in my own stuff, because as a Patra, we took a penalty to Wisdom, I think it was? I don't remember now. Not off the top of my head. But one of the first things we did, we covered that weakness. No negative numbers. At level 3, I got to have another feat, so I took Specialized Crafting, Robotics, the reason being, everyone's got to make a living. Okay? Everyone has to make a living, so that's how I'm going to do it. And of course, we got Synchronized, or we got, what was it called? We got Mobile Exocortex, right. And since that's different for whatever your exocortex is, whether it is a turret, a mine, or a drone, it changes. So mine is Synchronized Step. With a single action, we can both move. Now, why you have to wait till level 3 for that, I don't know. It means that before level 3, you have to actually spend time to order your drone to move. So either you get your turn or you get a drone turn. That's it. And that's still kind of true, but now at least you can move together. So, yay? I mean, the drone does get better. I looked ahead a little bit. Drones do get better. It's just a matter of, you know, gotta get there first. Alright, so that's going to take us to level 4 then. Let's get back into this. And at level 4 we get a mechanic feat and a skill feat. Well, as far as a mechanic feat goes, we have to scroll down for that. Got those, got customizations. Here we go, mechanic feats. Okay, now at level 4, we get level 4 options. So, adaptive camouflage, modified hologram projector, and a suit of armor, giving it rudimentary cloaking. Concentrate explosion, no. Double detonation, also no. Gravitic mines, that's 3 in a row for mines. Self-destruct makes your turret explode. Lots of explosion stuff. Or tactical drone. You've improved your drone, making it a mature companion and gaining additional capabilities. Okay. Well, I think this is the one that we would want to go with. Let's see. Prerequisites, drone exocortex, obviously. You've improved your drone, making it a mature companion. And gaining all the additional capabilities during an encounter. Even if you don't command your robot, it can still use one action that round to either stride or strike. It can do this at any point during your turn, so long as you aren't currently taking an action. If it does, that's all the actions it gets this round. You cannot command it later. However, I do believe that pairs well with Synchronized Stride. So, if you used your Synchronized Stride to move you and your drone to a new location, then your tactical drone doesn't need this stride, and it can use a strike. Now, it says that you, even if you don't command your companion, you can still use that one action that round. Synchronized stride isn't a command. At least I don't think it is. Hold on, let me just say stay up. You issued order to an animal. Attempt a nature check. I don't have to. Yeah, because the drone just automatically does it. Yeah, I think that would work. Okay, so yeah, tactical drone. It's also going to make it a mature companion. So when you advance a young animal companion as a mature companion, if your companion is medium or smaller, it grows by 1 size. Increase strength, dexterity, constitution, and wisdom modifiers by 1. Increase proficiency rank for perception, all saving throws to expert. Increase proficiency ranks in intimidation, stealth, and survival to trained, and if it was already trained in one of those skills, increase it to expert. And increase the unarmed attack damage from 1 die to 2. Okay, so a couple of things there. The first of which is, if your companion is medium or smaller, it grows by 1 size. That doesn't really fit for the, for this frame. But I suppose that's really neither here nor there. Yeah, I don't think it's going to actually, I don't think an imitator chassis would want to grow 1 size. However, we can increase strength, dex, constitution, and wisdom by 1. So, all the physical stats, that's +3, +3, +3, and +3. Increases proficiency in perception and all saving throws to expert. Okay. Well, there's perception and all saves. And we'll increase those all to expert. Seems like a lot. Let's see, if it was already trained in one of those skill types... Oh, wait. Increase its proficiency ranks in intimidation, stealth, and survival to trained. Okay, well... What did it say again? Intimidation, stealth, and survival. So... Intimidation... Stealth and survival to trained. And then increase its unarmed attack damage from 1 die to 2 dice. I do not know what the unarmed attack was for this frame. We can look at that later. I mean, it's not really important to what we're doing right now, but sure, great, I guess. Okay. And that means that over here, at level 4, for my mechanic feat, we're going to take tactical drone. Alright, there we go. And I see the PC's in here. Hello, PC. Good to have you in this morning. Okay, so now that we've got the tactical drone, that's our mechanic feat. Now we need to look at skill feats. And I was doing that over here. Oh, I already have a tab for that. Cool, skill feats. And we're already on acrobatics. Now I do have an expert in acrobatics. Is there anything over here that we want? And the answer to this is pretty much no. There is Kip Up at level 7. But I mean, first off, that requires level 7. Secondly, a master in acrobatics. So, what else do we have available? Well, we have an expert in crafting as well. So let's take a look at that. And same thing. There's lots of crafting options at level 2. Pretty much nothing at level 4. We don't get anything else until level 7, and that's just impeccable crafting, which is the natural conclusion for specialty crafting. We'll get it, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't help us right now. If I go to skill feats and just look by level, is there anything at level 4? There's only 94 more entries. And the answer is no. No, there is not. There is no feat at level 4. Okay. Oh, and MG's in. Hello, MG. Good to see you here this morning. Okay, so since there are no level 4 feats, it's basically just pick another level 2 feat. That's fine. And again, this is one of those things that kind of makes me feel like it's just not finished. I mean, if you're going to get a skill feat every level, there should be at least 2 skill feats for each skill per level. And I mean, I don't know why this wasn't kind of an automatic thing. When Paizo was making the game, if you're going to give skill feats every level, or every other level, make sure that there are options every other level. And if somebody wants to come to me and say, well, you know, that means, or they did that so that you're forced to take other things, well, that's just bad. You're taking options away from your players. If you put in 2 options for every level, which they're supposed to take a skill feat, you're not stopping them from taking something from another skill. You're giving them the ability to focus on the one. Alright, well, I guess we'll just go through them again and see if there was anything else that really appealed. And looking at acrobatics, the answer is no. I mean, steady balance was already kind of situational. And MG says, it is technically unfinished. This is playtest material, not the skills that I'm looking at. These are part of the core rulebook. These are already published. The mechanic, though, yes. The mechanic is absolutely playtest material, so that is technically unfinished. And I'm keeping that in mind as we're going through it. But so far, I don't have too many complaints about the mechanic. Except that it's different. I don't like change. Otherwise, as far as the crafting rules go, was there anything in here? We already got the specialty crafting, so we don't need that. Communal crafting, you can have other PCs help you craft an item under your direction. Actually, you know what? So, you can have other PCs help you craft an item under your direction. A helper PC rolls a check with a skill in which they're trained. The skill must be crafting or another skill relevant to the item, as determined by the GM. For example, a PC might use religion to help you craft an item with the divine trait, or warfare lore to help you craft a weapon. Your roll still determines whether you are successful to create an item. Any helper's roll contributes towards reducing the cost of raw materials, using the numbers from earn and income. This uses the ally PC's proficiency rank in the skill, and their level -1 for their level. You know, that might not be a bad idea. Well, we talked last week about, you know, the fact that every character should be able to earn a living, however it is that you do that. And the options that they give us are crafting, lore, and performance. With any other ones being at the GM's discretion, which I would probably be very liberal with my discretion in that regard. But if my character was going to be running something like, say, a robotics shop, and why would my character have a robotics shop? Then having communal crafting might not be a bad idea. And MG says, speaking of playtest, I really like the Luminary class. Kind of a magic tech pop star. I'd almost call it sci-fi bard. That was my impression the first time I looked at it too. I haven't really looked at the actual class. I only looked at the overview of it. But that was my look too. And I'm a sucker for hard-like constructs, so we could look at it later. I wouldn't mind that. If it wasn't going to be communal crafting, though, Inventor, you are a genius at crafting. This requires expert in crafting, though. And actually, for that matter, so does communal crafting. Which means I can't get it. No, wait, I do have expert in crafting. Never mind. Never mind. I absolutely can get either one of those. What was Inventor again? Let's see. Easily able to determine how things are made and create new inventions. You can spend downtime to invent a common formula that you don't have. This works just like the craft activity, except you spend half the price of the formula up front, attempt a crafting check, and on a success, either finish the formula by paying the difference or work longer to decrease the price. When they say formula, though, what do they mean? Because formula is kind of a specific word, at least in Pathfinder. Your formulas were basically the mixtures for an alchemist's bombs. Okay, crafting rules formula. Here we go. Written formula for an item that helps you create it with less difficulty. This has two functions. First, it reduces the time needed to start crafting from 2 days to 1, as you have less preparation to do. Secondly, you can craft uncommon and rarer items if you're able to acquire their formulas. See the rules for information on formulas. Okay, let's follow that one. Written or formalized instructions for making items. Their primary purpose is to reduce the time it takes to start crafting activity, which is helpful for items you'll make frequently. You can usually read a formula as long as you can read the language it's written in, even if you lack the skill to craft an item. Some corporations use encryption to protect their formulas. If you obtain a formula for an uncommon or rarer item, you have access to that item so you can craft it. These formulas can be significantly more valuable if you can find them at all. Is anybody else getting STC vibes? I'm getting STC vibes. If you have a formula, you can craft a copy of it. So basically, if I'm understanding this right, if you take crafting, you can craft anything that is common. If you want to craft anything that is uncommon or higher, you either need to physically have one of those items already, and so you're just copying it, or you need to have a formula for it. Okay, now let's go backwards then. Inventor. You can spend downtime to invent a common formula that you don't know. This works just like the craft activity. You spend half the price on the formula up front, attempt a crafting check, and on success, you either finish the formula by paying the difference or work for longer to decrease the price. The difference is that you spend the additional time in research, design, and development, rather than in craft or creating the item. Once it's complete, you add the new formula you invented to your formula book. So, you can only craft a common formula. Which means that the only thing this is really doing is reducing your prep time from 2 days down to 1. Is that really all that impressive? It says you attempt a crafting check after you spend 2 days of work setting up, or 1 day if you have the item's formula. The GM determines the DC to craft the item based on its level, rarity, and other circumstances. Which again, as I said last time, is probably going to be something more akin to a DC 10, 15, or 20 plus the item's level. all you're really doing here is just saving yourself a day of work, and that day of work seems kind of arbitrary to begin with. Like, the whole thing about setting up, why is this even in here? I'm genuinely curious as to why they would force you to idle for 2 days before you can even start making rolls. I don't understand it. I mean, if you wanted to do this already, you could have just, said that you need to have, or you need to find an appropriate place to work. You need to provide half the item's value in materials. But then again, that could also be a downtime activity. This stuff is already kind of written into the rules. Like, if you have a workshop, if you own your own workshop, then why would you need to spend time setting up? If you're in a market, why would you need to spend time setting up? I feel like this restriction is, it's arbitrary. If your players are trying to craft and they do not have access to a workshop, or they do not have access to a market, make them source their materials. And just say, you know what, you need to provide half of the item's value in materials. Okay, well, if you're going to provide half the item's value in materials, you need a place to buy those materials. Make your players go find a market. It's not that hard. Don't just put this arbitrary 2 days of work setting up, or 1 day if you have the formula. I would just ignore this personally. Someone's going to have to explain to me why this is necessary. I don't feel like it is. JP is in. Hello, JP. Just popping in for a few. Happy Sunday. Well, happy Sunday to you too. Alright, so Inventor is really not all that great. I would not take Inventor. I would right now call that a bit of a trap skill. Or a trap feat. Magical crafting. It's just that. Percussive maintenance. Try to repair an item by smashing against a hard surface. I almost feel obligated to take that one. Let's see. You try to repair an item by smashing it against a hard surface. Attempted a DC 10 flat check. So basically, coin toss. With a critical success, reduce the glitching condition by 2. Regular success, reduce the glitching condition by 1. Okay. What if the thing that's malfunctioning is my drone? Do I hit my drone? Seems violent. Otherwise, there's tech crafting. Seems kind of good. And JP says, percussive maintenance? Yes, percussive maintenance. If you've never had to work on something, it's important. You can craft level 1 or higher tech items, though some have other requirements, as listed in Chapter 6 Equipment. When you select this feat, you gain formulas for 4 common tech items of the 2nd level or lower. Again, we get back to the formulas. And again, you gain formulas for 4 common tech items of the 2nd level or lower. So you save a day on setup? Why? Why are they so absolutely set on this whole 2-day waiting period? Wait, is that what it is? Is it a waiting period? Do you need a 2-day waiting period before you can craft a gun? Okay, I'm gonna take percussive maintenance. Sure, I'll take percussive maintenance. I just... The crafting rules have me absolutely flabbergasted. Okay? They do. They do. I can't deal with it. Okay. So, moving on to level 5 then. And we get a lot of stuff in level 5. So, for level 5, we're going to get an attribute boost. So, that's just going to give us 4 points, right? At the 5th level, you get 4 free boosts to different attribute modifiers. If an attribute is already level or +4 or higher, it takes 2 to get 1 more. So, let's look at that. Looking at what I've got, my intelligence is already a +4. Could I up that to a 5? I could. However, I would much rather give myself 1 more dexterity. I'd much rather give myself 1 more wisdom, 1 more charisma. I mean, if we're going to make money, charisma's a good thing. And then I think I'll finally put 1 into constitution. The reason being, that's my fortitude save. I mean, strength, I don't feel like I'm going to need a whole lot of that. And that's part of, just kind of Starfinder in general. I don't generally find that strength is one of the more important things. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Number 1, if you have a starship, which apparently Starfinder 2E doesn't have yet, you can keep all your stuff on the ship. So you don't need to carry all of it, which means you don't need to really worry about your strength for your carrying capacity. You need strength for melee weapons. Everybody has a gun, though. Okay, and it's not like, in Pathfinder where bows and arrows do exist, but yeah, you need 2 hands to use it. No, everybody's got a gun. You should have a gun, okay? Like, at least a sidearm. Generally speaking, my rule of thumb is pick whatever you want to specialize in. If you want to specialize in ranged, get a 2-handed gun and a 1-handed melee. If you want to specialize in melee, get yourself a 2-handed melee and a 1-handed ranged. You don't have to follow that. That's just my rule of thumb for that. JP says, have you tried turning it off and on? Okay. Have you tried kicking it? Kicking it works sometimes. JPL says, this edition feels like the free demo version. I mean, it's kind of what I've been complaining about the entire time. But we're literally making a playtest class right now, so it is basically the free demo version. Alright, so we've got our attributes. Next, at level 5, I get an ancestry feat. Fun! Okay, I gotta go back and find those. We'll use this one. We need to go back to character creation, ancestries. And somewhere down here... Here we go. Is the Patra. Go into Patra feats. And a whole bunch of level 5 feats. Now see, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. At level 5, you get an ancestry feat. Look at all the level 5 feats. Why couldn't they do that with skills? Okay, so, we took land on your feet at level 1. First off, is there anything that that helps with that? And the answer is no, not really. So, there are things that we can discount immediately, like the Patra Caterwall, Long Whiskered. Although, Soft Step, we are trained in acrobatics. What does this do? You're so light on your feet that you can even move through tall grass without leaving any tracks. You gain the Feather Step General Feat even if you don't have the prerequisites. You can cover your tracks using acrobatics instead of survival. And what does Feather Step do? You step carefully and quickly. You can step into difficult terrain. Okay. So, step is basically just the 5-foot step from Pathfinder 1, as far as I understand it. What else? So, Ancestral Pest? No, don't want to change form. Battle Blessed? You're an accomplished battle dancer and warrior, blessed by the seers, honed by ancestral tradition. JP says, time for your ancestry feats, son. Hands him a shovel, points across the ancient graveyard. No grave robbing. Let's see. Centering scent. You can recenter yourself with a familiar scent stored in your body, such as a favorite food, the scarf of a loved one, or a sample of dirt from your homeworld. Roll a DC 5 flat check, and this reduces your frightened values. Okay. Climbing claws. You gain a climb speed equal to your land speed. Sure, but I can already climb with athletics. Climbing specialist. You can climb. Okay, hold on a second. Whether by natural appendages or some personal modification, you can climb. You gain a climb speed equal to your ancestry's climbing specialist entry, which is 10 feet. But why? When I have climbing claws, this gives me a climb speed equal to my land speed. I think this is supposed to be a general ancestry feat, not specifically a Patra feat, even though it says Patra here. I think everyone gets climbing specialist. Prehensile limbs. One of your tails or tendrils functions like an extra hand, is capable of performing some precision tasks. You can hold one extra hand's worth of equipment in your prehensile tail, and you can use your prehensile tail to perform the interact action. Your prehensile limb can be paired with another hand when you designate your active hands with the switch hands action, and you can wield a shield or weapon in your prehensile limb when it's one of your active hands. Well, that answers my question as to whether they have tails. And JP says, LOL, using a feat to smell like dirt. Feels more like a cantrip. It's not a very good feat regardless. Prehensile limbs is, though. Prehensile limbs is a very good one. Let's see. Soft step we already looked at. Stretching reach. You can leverage your size to extend your reach. When you wield a melee weapon that requires 2 hands and doesn't have reach, you can change between a typical 2-handed grip and an extended 2-handed stretch using an interact action. Weapons wielded in your extended reach or extended stretch gain a reach of 10 feet. So, it's pretty specific. It requires 2 hands and doesn't have reach. However, I mean, that's a lot of weapons. Basically, if you get a spear, well, not a spear, because a spear already has reach. Like a 2-handed sword or axe or something. But again, with this is Starfinder. This is a world of guns. I don't need to stretch to shoot or to touch somebody over there. I have a gun. And that takes us, we can't get the last 2, that takes it to level 9, so I guess we'll take prehensile limbs? And MG says 2 arms, a tail, and a mech arm. 4 limbs now? Well, we don't technically have the mech arm. Technically, the mech arm in 2E doesn't even exist. If we went back to Starfinder 1, Do I have a Starfinder 1 tab here somewhere? Thought I did. Yes, I do, right here. If we come down to equipment, augmentations, cybernetics, again, this is the whole list of cybernetics. You had a lot more options. But, if we come down here to level 11, cybernetic arm, single. So, made of ultralight materials, this fully cybernetic arm fuses to your spinal column, exoskeleton, or equivalent body structure and functions as a full arm. You can hold an additional hand's worth of equipment. This lets you have more items at the ready, but it does not increase the number of attacks you can make in combat. You must have a strength score of 12 to use a cybernetic arm effectively. The dual arm consists of a pair of arms, one on each side, lets you hold an additional 2 hands worth of equipment. You need a strength score of 14 to use that. So that's the cybernetic arm that we're talking about. Unfortunately, though, as I pointed out over here at augmentations, we ain't got it. We have the hideaway limbs, we have prosthetic limbs, so, I mean, you can replace the limbs that you already have, and that's great, but no cybernetic limbs. That's what I was saying. I could probably just transfer it. So for the time being, prehensile limb is about the only way that you're getting a third limb at this point in time. Unless we house rule it. So, prehensile limb. Alright, I'm good with it. Okay, damage customizations. That's the next thing that we get. And apparently the link doesn't work. No, wait, there it goes. It doesn't do anything. It just takes me back to the top of the page. Learn to index your pages. Damage customizations. Okay, you develop the tools to temporarily transmute energy from one type to another, and you solve complex calculations required to add versatility to your physical attacks. Add one of the following mods to the list of options you can select to modify. Either energy versatility. You add a custom energy converter to an item. It deals one of the following damage types rather than its typical damage type. Acid, cold, electric, fire, sonic. Or a physical versatility, same thing, but it is now bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing. And me personally, I think I would go with versatility. Actually, well, no, that'd be funny, but I can't do that because you have to mod it twice in one round. I was going to say, I would take physical versatility bludgeoning. Why would I take physical versatility bludgeoning? For beanbag rounds. Seriously. Seriously. Change the damage type to bludgeoning. Come back up here to mods. And go for incapacitant. The item gains the non-lethal trait. And you now have beanbag rounds. And if you don't know what a beanbag round is, the easiest way to explain it is that most police outfits will carry a shotgun, then instead of having bullets in it, will literally just fire a beanbag. So when the beanbag is flying, it spreads out the damage. It still hits like a bullet, but it doesn't penetrate. By the way, they are called less lethal because a beanbag round could still kill you. However, I like the idea. I would probably still take the physical. Blizz says, but I can imagine it can still break ribs. Oh, you don't need to imagine it. You don't need to imagine anything. It will absolutely break ribs. Okay, it will break ribs, it will fracture skulls, it can crack arms. It is meant to put you down without killing you. That does not mean that you may not wish you were dead afterwards. So yeah, I will take physical versatility. So physical versatility. I don't know how to spell that. There we go. I will have to move this down. Because we need a little bit more space. Because after damage customizations comes mechanic weapon expertise. Oh, and JP says beanbag gun has been known for knockback. I mean, I imagine you would probably know better than anybody else in the chat right now. You might actually have some first-hand experience. I'm going to assume on the shooting side, not the receiving side. I could be wrong about that, though. If you are wrong, if I am wrong about that, it's going to be story time with JP. Okay, next is mechanic weapon expertise. So, will expertise, damage customizations, here we go, mechanic weapon expertise. You know how to use constructed weapons to your advantage. Your proficiency ranks for simple and martial weapons and unarmed increase to expert. Right, we looked at this last time because I accidentally looked ahead. So, those plus those go up to expert. You gain access to the critical specialization effect of all weapons for which you have expert proficiency. If you have the drone, your drone additionally gains access to the critical specialization effects of all weapons for which it has expert proficiency. But does it get proficiency with everything I have proficiency in? And JP says, shotgun and flamethrower ready for dungeon clearing. Also, yes, fond memories. Like I said, now we need story time with JP. My drone currently does not have any proficiencies with any weapons. Did I miss something? Scrolling down because it should be down here. Let's see. Basic companions. So, robot companion loses all that. It is immune to the following effects. It has a weakness to electricity equal to half its level rounded up, although we took care of that. Your robot companion begins play with one commercial customization of your choice and gain additional customization through feats. We have the imitator chassis. Size varies, see special, which is why I don't think it actually gets any bigger. Its primary skill is deception. Those lowlights is speed. Nothing about this says anything about proficiencies, though. The powerful chassis, again, doesn't say anything about that. The tank chassis. Oh, by the way, the tank chassis I'm really coming around to because I like the idea that you can just ride your drone. But yeah, it doesn't say anything about proficiencies. So how do I know what proficiencies my companion has? Let's see, for animal companions, it has the animal and minion traits. It gains 2 actions during your turn, just like anything else. Following base characteristics. Yeah, I have no idea how this even works. And JP says, beanbag guns used to be used for anti-piracy. A bag to the dome from above will clear multiple people from ascending at a time. I didn't even think about piracy. But then again, you were in the U.S. Navy, were you not? Who's pirating Navy ships? That's a very interesting career choice. You're a Somali pirate or something. It's like, oh, look at that. A U.S. destroyer. Let's go board that ship. I think it's a good thing that you trained for it. I'm just not sure exactly how often you would use it. Okay, anyway, back to this. So, mechanic weapon expertise. My drone gains access to critical specialization effects for all weapons for which it has expert proficiency. I don't know where my drone even gets proficiency, so I don't know. Maybe I missed something up here? Drone. Here we go. Let's read it again, word for word, verbatim. Your exocortex connects to a basic robot called a drone, which accompanies you on your adventures and follows your neural commands to the best of its abilities. See Robot Companions for more information. The drone types are detailed below. In addition to the customization, all robot companions receive. Your drone begins with one integrated weapon mount. You control your drone with your thoughts at a range of up to 150 feet. Only you can operate, control, or repair it. If it's ever beyond your range of control, it can't perform any actions. During your daily preparations, you could automatically repair your drone, restoring it up to its maximum hit points, even if it's been destroyed. You can further customize and advance your drone by taking feats. Okay. Oh, and Blizz has to go. Well, Blizz, it was good having you here. Thank you for coming, and I look forward to seeing you next week here. So until then, take care. Let's see. You can spend additional time directing your drone for a more complex plan of action. You can spend 2 actions to command instead of 1. When commanding your drone, your drone can use an additional action, normally 3 actions rather than 2. You can modify your drone when you're within reach. The drone counts as armor for the purposes of modify and can gain the following new mods, either Desperate Repair or Killbot. And again, we've got the whole list of things here, which we have read several times now. I do not know how my drone gets feats. Am I missing something here? I feel like I'm missing something here, and I don't know where it could possibly be. But okay, doesn't matter. We know what we're doing, it's just a matter of I don't know how it applies. So, mechanic, weapon, expertise. There. So we got that. Let's see. And JP says, hey, we were trained on tying knots, man. Give me a break. FYI, the smaller the Navy ship, the bigger the target for pirates. Just because I was on a big ship doesn't mean my next ship won't be small. Therefore, we all learn. I get that. Okay, I understand that. The point I'm trying to make, though, is like, if you're a pirate and you see a container vessel, I get it. If you can take over a container vessel, you are set for life. Which is why container vessels also train for these things. Container vessels also have water cannons and stuff like that. No, most container vessels do not carry guns because they don't want to escalate things. The people on board are not soldiers. But I really like big container ships. I mean, I have a strong passion for those, so I know quite a bit about them. They put up things like they roll out wire throughout the corridors to stop people from being able to move even if they board. They use water cannons to drown rafts and small boats. All kinds of stuff like that. My point is, like, what pirate out there is looking at a naval vessel, and forget US, what pirate out there is looking at any modern naval vessel and saying, that's a good target? Knowing full well that everybody on board is going to be lethally armed. JP says, small Navy ship likely to be boarded while moored up to a foreign port pier doesn't happen out to sea, really. I mean, that may be fair, but... I mean, are you using water cannons while you're docked too? I mean, I guess you probably could, but... who's watching? I just feel like if you're a pirate and you're looking at military vessels to pirate, you've made certain life choices that are inadvisable. Anyway, though, I also get a skill increase. And I can't make any of them master yet, so... if I was going to do a skill increase, I feel like computers is probably the best way to go. Seems to me if I'm going to be a decent mechanic, having good computers is probably... well, no. Hold on. Because this is what I got into last time. Right, I forgot to talk about that earlier. This is a really good time to talk about that. In the last stream, I'd actually given myself masters in crafting, and that was because I misinterpreted the rules, but the rules were ripe for misinterpretation. At level 3, I got mechanics ingenuity as well as a skill increase. Now, I had said, while we were on the stream, that Mechanics Ingenuity says at the 3rd, 7th, and 15th level you gain an additional skill increase that you can only apply to computers and crafting. You also gain additional skill feat at these levels. This feat must be for computers or crafting. And then a regular skill increase, which is the 3rd level and every 2 levels after, you gain a skill increase. You can use this to increase, or this increase will either become trained in a skill you're untrained in, or become an expert in one skill that you're already trained in. At the 7th level, you can use skill increase to become a master in a skill you're already trained an expert and blah blah blah. When I had read it, I had said, okay, this says at the 3rd level I can increase a skill from untrained to trained or from trained to expert. And at the 7th level I can increase one from expert to master. This one, however, has no such thing. It says you gain an additional skill increase that you can apply only to computers and crafting. Which means that if I applied this to my crafting, and then my skill increase, well, it doesn't work because I gotta be level 7. But if I use my skill increase on crafting first and then mechanics ingenuity, well, then why not? However, in discussing this at length with ChatGPT, going over every possible interpretation of this, I believe I've settled on what they've wanted to do, and I believe they've made a mistake. See, it says right down here, at the 3rd, 7th, and 15th level, you gain an additional skill increase that you can apply only to computers and crafting. What they should have done, however, was capitalized skill increase. Because ChatGPT suggested that this is not a +1 bonus to whichever one you get. It is actually this, a skill increase. I get an additional skill increase per these rules, but it is limited to computers or crafting. Meaning that I can only get these skills up to expert. It also means, however, that I could put a skill increase into computers now, which would bring it up to expert. Or I could wait until level 7 and get it up to master. Because if I put it into something else, when I get to level 7, I can just put a skill increase into computer and then mechanics ingenuity into computer, and there you go. That being said, though, if I wanted to get crafting up to expert, or up to master, excuse me, then yeah, that'd be the way to go. All right, never mind. We're going to do computers there. But yeah, that was a very interesting interpretation. I think it could have been worded better. Or at least some reference made to the skill increases up here. Alright, and with the skill increase, that's level 5. So, we go to level 6, and level 6 is easy. Level 6 is just a skill feat and a mechanic feat. So, let's make this one short and sweet. For starters, as far as skill feats go, we still don't have anything that is level 6. However, I did just make myself an expert in computers, so let's go take a look at computers and see if there's anything that opened up for us here. Combat hack requires an expert in computers. So, attempt a computer check to hack an adjacent creature, hazard, or item with the tech trait. The DC is equal to the creature, item, or hazard's fortitude DC, or the fortitude DC of the creature attending the object. If the target is an unattended object, the GM sets the DC. The target is temporarily immune from your attempts to combat hack it for 10 minutes. On a critical success, it gains glitching 2. Regular success is glitching 1. Critical failure. If the target had the glitching condition, reduce the value by 1. You accidentally fixed it. And what does glitching do? Let's see. The glitching condition always includes a value. If you have a glitching equipment to take any action involving it, you must attempt a flat check to see what occurs. If you have the glitching condition, you must make a flat check at the beginning of each of your turn. The DC for the flat check is equal to 5 plus the condition value. Which means that even if we got a critical success, we're talking about having a flat check of a DC 7. It's not terrific. Otherwise, though, I mean, there's not a whole lot of really great options under computers, but seeing as how it is kind of like the best option we have right now, sure, combat hack it is. I mean, it doesn't have to be the best character of all time. We just need to make it through. And have fun along the way. That's important too. Okay, and we need a mechanic feat. Those are all the way down at the bottom. And now that we're level 6, what do we got? Auto target. Requires a drone or exocortex. It's a reaction. Also, need to bring this up a little bit. There we go. So, auto target requires a drone or exocortex. I have one of those. The trigger is a creature within 30 feet of your drone or turret uses a move action or leaves a square during the move action it's using. Thanks to their quick response time of your exocortex and top-notch motion sensors, the drone or turret can automatically target enemies based on proximity. It makes a ranged strike attack against the triggering creature. The strike doesn't count towards your multiple attack penalty, and your multiple attack penalty doesn't apply to this strike. Useful! Cloaking Companion. Okay. Defensive Programming. Interesting. Requires a drone. Programmed to protect your allies and other nearby creatures. It gains the Covering Posture action. It enters a defensive stance that shields nearby allies from harm, and it remains ready to adjust position to maintain this protection. All allies that remain adjacent to your drone gain lesser cover. That's also useful. Double deployment. Don't care about mines. Tactical customization. Your drone gains 1 tactical customization. Prerequisite, tactical drone, which we already got. We got that at level 4. Okay. So let's take a look at those then. Advanced customizations. Your robot companion can select the following if it's burly or grace. No, not that. Commercial. Tactical. Here we go. It can take the following if it's a mature robot companion and has taken a feat that grants it tactical customization. Yes, this is what we want. Okay, assistant. Select one skill both you and your robot companion are trained in. If your robot companion is within reach, you gain a +1 circumstance bonus to the selected skill check. Well, I would want, like, crafting for that, but my drone doesn't have that. Biotech healing circuit. It is no longer immune to healing. Can be healed as if it were a living creature. Okay. Burrower lets it dig. Echolocation lets it use hearing as a precise sense. An expertise module. Choose a skill your robot companion is trained in, even if the proficiency is granted by customization such as a skill module. It becomes an expert. Alright. Emergency reboot. If your robot companion would be reduced to 0 hit points by damage, as a free action with the concentrate trait, you can initiate an emergency reboot. If you do, your companion is reduced to 1 hit point and shuts down completely for 1 minute. During this minute, it becomes immune to damage, can't be harmed, and can't take any actions. Well, it's useful, but why is it immune to damage? That seems a bit arbitrary. Hardened chassis. It gains more hit points. High speed. Increase one of its speeds to 40 feet. Network. Your robot companion has an integrated hacking kit and can connect to an adjacent computer as a single action. When it's connected, you can perform computer checks on the connected computer as if you were adjacent to it. Okay. Or share charge. Your robot companion can use items that require a battery even if the item has no battery or charges by providing power from its own power reserves. Cool. Free battery. Some of those are interesting. Some of those are not really all that useful, though. At least to me. The networking seems to be good. I guess if I was going to take anything, it would probably be network. But I'm also kind of leaning towards maybe we skip this one. Like, the tactical customization is cool. But I would almost say that the defensive programming or auto-target are better. Let's see. What else do we have? Tactical team-up. Requires a turret. We ain't got one. Activate targeting system. You activate the advanced targeting system you built into your exocortex, ensuring your attacks strike true through the chaotic crossfire. The next time before the end of your turn that you, your drone, or your turret makes an attack roll, that attack roll ignores circumstance penalties to the attack roll, as well as any flat check required due to target being concealed or hidden. Interesting. But it does not negate cover. Oh, wait, that's a level 8 anyway. So we couldn't take that anyway. Okay, covering posture. So all allies that remain adjacent to your drone gain lesser cover until the start of your next turn. What does that mean, though? What does lesser cover mean? I don't know. Maybe I can find out. Cover. Here we go. So, when you're behind an obstacle that could block weapons, guard against explosions, or make you harder to detect, you're behind cover. Do we not make any differences between cover and concealment now? Standard cover gives you a +2 circumstance bonus to AC, reflex saves against area effects, and to stealth checks to hide, sneak, and avoid detection. You can increase this to greater cover using the take cover action, increasing the circumstance bonus to a +4. If the cover is especially light, typically is provided by a creature, you have the lesser cover, which grants a +1 circumstance bonus to AC. The creature with standard cover or greater cover can attempt to use this to stealth or hide, but lesser cover isn't sufficient. So it's just going to give you a +1 to AC. Well, it's not bad. That's not bad. However, it does cost an action. And actions are kind of precious. Which leads me back up to auto-target. This is a reaction. And having more reactions is always a really good idea. And JP says, I think concealed doesn't mean covered. Well, it used to not. So I'm trying to figure out as if it still doesn't. Because concealment meant that you didn't know where your target was. You could guess, but you didn't know where they were. And so it was harder to hit them. Cover, you absolutely know where they are. But they're still harder to hit. Both of them essentially do the same thing, but for different reasons. And so I can understand why they might have combined them. But you are right. Concealment is not cover, and cover is not concealment. And anybody who's done any kind of, like, tactical game before would know the difference. And JP says, a shadow isn't a shield. You're right. I'm not. Do not use me as such. I think auto-target's the way to go, though. A bonus reaction that my drone can use. I think that's it. So, auto-target. And I can even put that over here. So, level 6. Auto-target. Okay, then let's go back up, because now we get to level 7. What if we can actually get through all this today? We get a general feat. Mechanics Ingenuity again. Mechanics Reflexes, skill increase, and weapon specialization. Okay, let's go through these one at a time. First, general feat. So we'll come back over here. Actually, I do wonder. I'm already on Demiplane. Game rules. Feats. I wonder if there's feats in here that we didn't have in the Archive of Nethys. What do you mean something went wrong? Don't tell me something went wrong. That's better. Okay, oh my god, the first one that I see is Leet Haxor. Come on, are we playing a serious game here or not? This already looks like a mess, though. So, these are already ordered alphabetically. If I order them by level... There is 50 pages of these. Filters. Filters, filters, filters. Okay. This is the way that we want to go. Okay. Categories. We're gonna want general. I don't think I want to reset. Did it automatically change them? Reset. Just go to general then. Okay, so it does update automatically. Great. Okay. So now that we got that, subcategory, source, no, level. Here we go. 1, 3, 7, 11. Okay, wow. My options for level 7 general feats are Expeditious Search or Prescient Consumable. Obviously, Prescient Consumable is just the upgrade to Prescient Planet that we had. And MG says also has 360 no scope. Yes, very serious game. We're playing Call of Duty after this. Prescient Consumable does seem kind of like the obvious one to go to, seeing as how there's not exactly a whole lot of other options here. If I throw in level 3, that gives us Ancestral Paragon, Prescient Planner, and Untrained Improvisation. I throw in level 1, Adopted Ancestry, Armor Proficiency, I'd rather just not get shot, or Augmented Body. Which Augmented Body, I believe, is kind of a trap, because just go buy it, okay? If you're playing just vanilla Starfinder, you can probably find a place to go buy it. If we add in general skill, additional lore, there's assurance. I'm going to go with Prescient Consumable just because it's the easier one to go to. So, Prescient Consumable. Because sometimes you just need a drink. Alright, what else we got? Mechanics Ingenuity. This is what we were talking about earlier. So I'm going to get a skill increase at this level as well as Mechanics Ingenuity. I can apply 1 to computers, 1 to crafting, and bring both of them up at the same time. And so now I've got Master in both of them, and no rules have been broken. Mechanics Reflexes. This is just upping my reflexes. Where is it? Mechanics Reflex, here we go. Your proficiency rank to reflexes increases to Masters. When you roll a reflex save, or when you roll a success on a reflex save, you critically succeed instead. So, reflex, Master. We also get weapon specialization. We've learned how to inflict greater injuries with weapons we know best. We deal an additional 2 damage with weapons and unarmed attacks in which we are expert, and increases to 3 if we're master, 4 if we're legendary. Honestly, additional 2 damage doesn't seem like much, but whatever. Take what you can get. So, weapon specialization. And is that it? General feat. We took prescient consumable. Mechanics ingenuity increases computers. Skill increase increases crafting. Mechanics reflexes gives us the master and reflexes. Weapon specialization gives extra damage. That's it. That's it. Okay, well, that'll take us straight to level 8. That was a short one. Thought there'd be more to do at level 7, but we kind of already had it planned out. Level 8, mechanic feat and a skill feat. Well, we did just up our computers and crafting to master. So, let's try using this one again. Category. General skill. Subcategory. I think I know what I want to do, actually. Crafting. And what do we have over here? It looks pretty much the same as it did over in the Archive of Nethys, but let's go ahead and take a look. We'll do a side-by-side comparison. Specialty crafting, here we go. Okay, crafting. So, electrical engineer, quick install, quick repair. We got both of those, seasoned and serum, specialty and communal. Specialty and communal, inventor and magical. Inventor and magical, percussive and tech. Percussive and tech, impeccable and craft anything, impeccable and craft anything. They're literally the same. So I don't think that there's anything necessarily in here that the other book doesn't have. That being said, though, communal crafting is now an option for us. Or impeccable crafting. Now, impeccable crafting is the direct upgrade to specialty crafting. Come on, open up. Here we go. Whenever you roll a success with a crafting check to make an item of the type you chose with specialty crafting, you get a critical success instead. Which is great. Means that we can craft even better. And I do believe that is like the way to go. Just like we took prescient consumable because we took prescient planner earlier. And I have not been labeling these. Okay. So, the skill for this one... Oh, I had, specialty crafting over on that side. I don't know why. Should go on that side. So, skill. Impeccable crafting. Okay, perfect. So, we got that. And then we need a mechanic feat. So, we'll come all the way down here. We are level 8 now, which should give us some additional options. We do. We now have activate targeting system. We looked at that earlier. And this basically just lets us ignore anyone being concealed or hidden, which, again, don't think that means cover necessarily. Cloaking field, no, not really. Expansive array. Design an additional custom arrays for your turret. Yeah, we don't have a turret. Gravitic dampener. Remotely activate dampeners in your exocortex at slow motion and increase gravity. Either your turret, your drone, or one of your deployed mines radiates a 10-foot emanation of difficult terrain, which moves with the drone. It is immune to the effect of difficult terrain created by its own aura. The aura lasts for a number of rounds equal to your intelligence modifier. Interesting. Instant install. You've worked a few shortcuts into your custom rig, enabling you to install or uninstall upgrades swiftly. If you use your custom rig to install upgrade rather than a repair toolkit, you can install an upgrade as a single action. Interesting. Now, this is actually a question that I had before. So, right here, we have install upgrade, which is an action. It takes 10 minutes to install an upgrade into a suit of armor or weapon, placing it into an empty upgrade slot. However, if we come over to crafting again, one of the things that we've got over here is quick install. You take 1 minute to install an upgrade. If you're legendary in crafting, it becomes 3 actions. This then turns it into a single action. But does that include stuff on your drone? If your drone is treated as armor generally, it would... I would assume it does. Refined chassis? You further upgraded your drone. Prerequisite is tactical drone. We have that. It becomes graceful or a burly companion. Now, this is interesting because over here, we're looking at, or I saw the advanced customizations. If your robot companion can select the custom customizations if it's burly or graceful, and if it has taken a feat that gives it this. So, if we want any of the advanced customizations, which we will, we're gonna want this one. Okay, we're gonna take this. So, refined chassis. Well, okay. Feet, refined. No, it's just a feet. Refined chassis, and my knee jerk would be graceful, but let's look. To advance a mature robot companion to a graceful companion, increase the dex modifier by 2 and its strength, constitution, wisdom by 1. Increases proficiency ranks in acrobatics to expert. It deals an additional 2 damage with its unarmed attacks. And its attacks become magical for the purpose of ignoring resistances. And it learns the advanced maneuver for its type. As opposed to burly, which means that it grows in 1 size, increased strength by 2, dex, con, and wiz by 1, proficiency in athletics to expert. It deals 3 additional damage with unarmed attacks, and learns the advanced maneuver. Okay, I would absolutely take graceful. Okay, so then let's go ahead and, write this down. So for our drone, graceful is going to increase its dex by 2. Now, is that just straight? Because that'll put it up to a +5. Or does that become 4 and a partial? I'm not sure. Because that could be interpreted either way. I'm gonna go ahead and err in my favor and say that it becomes a +5. Although I'm sure that somebody might rule against that the other way. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that regardless. Strength, Con, and Wiz go up by 1. So +4, +4, +4. My drone is better than I am. Proficiency in acrobatics becomes expert. So we got that now. Deals 2 additional damage with its unarmed attacks. Its attacks become magical. That's fine. We already have something that's already boosting our damage anyway for being a tactical drone. And it learns the advanced maneuver for its type. Now, here's the interesting thing about that. We didn't really look at the advanced maneuvers. Since I have an imitator chassis, we can look at the advanced maneuver here. Disturbing display. The robot companion morphs its features to throw its opponent off balance. The robot companion attempts to demoralize. That's written weird. Attempts to demoralize the creature using deception instead of intimidation, which we have. This display gains the visual trait and loses the linguistic trait. While frightened by this ability, the target is off guard to your companion. Cool. So, we got that. So, I'm just going to put in here refined chassis. Graceful. And disturbing display. So we have, a record. All right, that takes care of level 8. Level 9 should be fun. Because the odd number ones always give us lots of stuff. Level 9, we get an ancestry feat. Okay. Let's take a look at that. Level 9, well, let's go through them one at a time. This one requires harmonic sensitivity. We don't have it. Melodic adaptation requires trained in arcana, nature, occultism, or religion. We don't got it. Male's melody. We don't have the male's chosen patra heritage. Male's tailspin, however, requires prehensile limbs. We did take that one. And JP says, AKA Tater Armor. Wait, in reference to what? Feeling a little confused here. Anyway, prehensile limbs gives us male tailspin. Technically allows you to use the momentum of your attack with the assistance of your tail to spin back onto your feet. Seems oddly specific. Overcrowd, we're not small. Void Path, we're not Voidborn. So what does this say? Takes an action. Make a melee strike with your claws or a battle ribbon, and then stand. If you don't take the -2 penalty for attacking while prone, and your stand action doesn't trigger reactions from the target of your strike. Okay. You stand up from being prone. Oh, well, the requirements would be you're prone in general. So basically, you can't fall while you're attacking? Or rather, you're allowed to attack from prone. Is that what they're trying to say? I'm a little unclear. I think it might mean you're allowed to attack from prone. Because it says that you do not trigger or your stand action doesn't trigger reactions from the target of your strike, which means that you would have to be striking, you would have to be standing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and assume that it allows you to attack from prone. But the fact is that even though that might be very situational, you know, try not to fall, it's probably the better way to go. So, Mayel's Tailspin. Sure. Good enough for me. We also get Mechanical Expertise. Somewhere down here. Here we go. Your skills and mechanic is improved. Your proficiency rank for your mechanic class DC increases to expert. Yay, I guess. So we're now an expert in mechanic DC. We also get remote mods. Go ahead and move this down by 1. So, mechanical expertise and remote mods. Breakthrough in your exocortex design allows you to add mods remotely. The range in which you can modify your exocortex increases to 30 feet. You must be within reach of your exocortex to modify it. Or if you must be within reach to modify it, this increases the range to 30 feet. Okay. So, I mean, if I wanted my drone to do something, then I can do that. More or less, I don't see how this is terribly useful. However, it does mean that you have a bit more flexibility with how you can position yourself, since you don't necessarily have to be right next to your drone at all times. Especially since, you know, most of these things don't really matter that much, but if you take the exocortex for a drone, there's Desperate Repair and Killbot. And so, yeah, being able to do that from 30 feet, yeah, it's better. So it's fine. Okay. We also get a skill increase. I can increase anything up to Master now. I'm going to take my Acrobatics and do just that. Acrobatics is now Master. But I'm the only one that gets Metallica's Master of Puppets in their head every time I say that. Because now it's like running on loop through my head. I'm going to have to go listen to it later. Okay, so we got our skill increase. That means we can go to level 10. Level 10, I get an attribute boost. So I get to put 4 in. Basically just going to keep increasing the things we're already increasing. So Dexterity is going to become a +4. Constitution a +2. Wisdom a +3. And Charisma a +4. So there, skilling or attribute boost. Then a skill feat and a skill feat and a mechanic feat. So let's go for skill feat, and let's go ahead and take a look at acrobatics now that we are a master in acrobatics. Do we get anything good? The answer to that is a very firm no. We get Kip Up. You stand up, this movement doesn't trigger reactions. We just got that. We just basically got that with our ancestry feat. And we can attack while doing it, so it's better. Although it doesn't apply to any other time outside of combat. But then again, when else would you be triggering things? I don't know. All right, so let's look at the other things that we're a master in. How about computers? Fool the camera. Requires us to be a master in computers. So, you know how to fool security cameras and tech items that confer special senses such as scopes. Whenever you use the avoid, notice, hide, or sneak actions, you're always considered to be taking precautions against special senses from tech items. In addition, you gain a +2 circumstance bonus to your stealth DC to avoid notice by cameras and technological hazards. That seems incredibly useful, but also at the same time incredibly niche. What is avoid notice? Stealth check to avoid notice while traveling at half speed. If you're avoiding notice at the start of an encounter, you usually roll a stealth check instead of a perception check to both determine your initiative and see if the enemies notice you based on their perception DCs as normal for sneak, regardless of their initiative results. Okay, now the traveling at half speed part, that actually catches my ID, or my notice, because that means that this could apply outside of combat. It even says it's an exploration thing. It means that if your speed is 30, you could travel at 15 through a city. Yes, you're traveling at half speed, but if you're traveling through the city, that means that no camera would ever see you. No drone would ever see you. It says that you gain a +2 circumstance bonuses to your stealth DC to avoid notice by cameras or other technological hazards. And you're always taking precautions against special senses from tech items. It seems to me like if you take Fool the Camera and you choose to use it while overland traveling, it basically makes you immune to cameras, microphones, etc. That could be really, really good if my interpretation is right. Was there anything more in crafting? We already took we already took impeccable crafting. We don't get anything else until level 15. And we're not even making a character that high level. This could be a good time to take communal crafting, actually. In fact, I might even take that. I might do that. We'll do that. Skill. Communal crafting. Except that goes down here into level 10, I believe. Yeah, that's level 10. All right, so there's the skill feat. Now we need the mechanic feat for level 10. And we got some options. The first of which is advanced customization. Your drone gains 1 advanced customization. We didn't take refined chassis for nothing. So, advanced customizations. We need a burly or graceful robot companion. We've already got it. And this is our feat. So, emergency repair. Once every 10 minutes, your drone can use a single action to initiate an emergency repair sequence, restoring hit points equal to its level, which right now is just 10. If your drone is superior, it instead restores hit points equal to twice its level. A maneuver module gives it a +1 bonus to 2 of the following actions. Neural upload. Once every 10 minutes, you can use a single action with the concentrate trait to temporarily upload your mind fully into your robot companion, controlling it directly by thought. When you do, you lose all sensory information from your own body, but you can sense through your robot companion. For up to 1 minute, any actions you perform are instead performed by your robot companion. You can dismiss this effect. You can literally just let yourself go blank and become your drone. Optimize avoidance. Choose one saving throw. Your companion takes no damage when it rolls a success. Okay. Recharge. Your drone can recharge a battery it touches. Resistant panels. Choose one of the following damage types and gain resistance to it. Or sapient. This is my choice. This is my choice. Your robot companion has achieved sapience, though it's yet to become a fully autonomous being. It is no longer immune to mental or spirit damage. Its intelligence increases to a +0 and can attempt actions that require intelligence and charisma. It can speak common. Due to the stress of combat, you must still command your robot companion in battle for it to act. But there's something in there. So, I'm going to go ahead and take Feat, Advanced, Custom, Sapient. And if we come over to the drone, we can put Sapient in here, and its intelligence becomes a 0. And it can now actually attempt checks with the intelligence score. So, this is great. It doesn't do much, but it is a stepping stone. It is a stepping stone. Alright, and I still got about 13 minutes left, so let's see if we can finish this up. Level 11. I think I'm on the wrong page here. I am. Here we go, up here. Actually, I didn't even look at the rest of these. Energy expulsion. Your turret fires... Okay, I don't care. Flickering shield. A rudimentary shield that temporarily blocks attacks. Well, that's for me. So it produces... Or, let's see. You learn how to install rudimentary shield that temporarily blocks damage. You gain the following new mod. Produces a shield. You gain temporary hit points equal to 5 plus your intelligence modifier. And it regains hit points equal to your intelligence modifier every round the shield is active. It lasts for 1 minute or until dismissed. Proximity alert mines? No. Rocket boosters. And it put rocket boosters into your drone. I mean, I did do that on a first edition drone, but that's just because my drone was small and needed to reach the top shelf. It gains a fly speed of 20 feet. Additionally, it gains the activate thrusters action. Don't need it. Alright, so yeah, I feel good about what we've chosen. It doesn't do much right now, but it will get better later. Alright, so, like I said, level 11 is next. We get a general feat. Okay, well... If we look at general feats, we come down to 11. There are no general feats at level 11. Again, why? If I come over here, reset these filters, general, and level 11. The only thing that this has is incredible investiture. However, incredible investiture is actually from, well, I mean, technically I was going to say it's from Pathfinder, but technically Starfinder is getting magic, so yeah, there's that. Yeah, there's not too many options here. I go with general skill. If I do that, I mean, technically, as long as it has the general, tag, I believe I'm allowed to take it. But then again, this is also all general feats. From level... Well, let's see what we can do. Wall jump requires master in athletics. We don't got it. No. Pressing consumable, we already got. Kip up is a general skill, but also requires master in acrobatics. This might be the good time to take Fool the Camera, actually. I mean, it does say general. It says general right there. And JP salutes. Okay, general's not actually on deck. You don't have to salute. At ease. I don't have a whole lot of other options here, so yeah, I'll take Fool the Camera. Alright, Fool the Camera, it's in there. Again, I don't know if it's going to be necessarily all that useful, but there you go. Okay, so we got a general feat, medium armor expertise, and perception mastery, and a skill increase. Okay. So, medium armor expertise. There are no prizes for determining what that does, but we'll look at it anyway. Perception mastery. So these turn green. And a skill increase. Now, here's the interesting one, because I don't have any yellow skills to turn green. So, if we look at what we got, acrobatics is going to do basically everything I don't really need athletics for. Computers and crafting are all good. Diplomacy could go up. You never know when you might need it. I don't really need performance or lore. I mean, lore would be maybe useful. Maybe society? I mean, I have +4 in dexterity and charisma, so probably one of those, actually. I'm gonna go with diplomacy. We'll up diplomacy. You never know when you might need it. Alright, so there's my skill increase, perception mastery, the medium armor expertise. Mechanical weapon mastery, no. Here we go. Your proficiency ranks for light, medium, and unarmored increase to expert. That's what I expected. Took a long time to get there, though. Alright, and that brings us to the last one. Level 12. All I gotta do is finish this one up, and we can call the character good. I still have to do some tweaks and clean things up and put numbers in, but we'll at least know what we're doing. And this is just a skill feat and a mechanic feat. That's simple. So, as far as a skill feat goes, again, kind of running out of options here. Although, I mean, if I look here at assurance, remember that that we're like really heavily focused on crafting. If I took assurance crafting, that is a steady income. I'm going to do that. So now, I have a guaranteed income. There you go. Unless something's going to tell me that I can't use assurance for it, but I so far haven't seen anything that says I can't. Even in the worst circumstances, you can take or perform basic tasks, choose one skill. You can forego rolling a skill check for that skill and instead receive a 10 plus your proficiency bonus. Do not apply any other bonuses, penalties, or modifiers. And since my proficiency bonus is my level plus my attribute anyway, no, actually I don't think it does it include my attribute? No, it's just my proficiency bonus, which is just my level plus whatever this is up here. Still though, I mean, for a level 12 character, especially if we're talking crafting, that's 28. Okay, I'm good with that. And then a mechanic feat. And we can go all the way down to the level 12s. So, the first level 12 is Deploy Bunker. Retractable barriers extend from your drone or turret to create a temporary wall. Now see, if we had taken the defensive cover, this might have been really good. Because, let's see, 1 inch thick, 5 feet high, placed vertically, border between squares. These walls are part of your exocortex, sharing the same statistics and hit points. It is a 5-foot wide metal wall. It's also 5 feet high. Or wait a minute, hold on. You either create a 5-foot wide metal wall in a space adjacent to your drone or turret, or you extend a wall you've already created by 5 additional feet. Either way, it doesn't really matter. The walls created are 1 inch thick, 5 feet high, and are placed vertically on the border between squares. They must be placed in a solid horizontal surface. They are part of your exocortex. They automatically retract back. Does not tell me what kind of cover they are. I assume they're regular cover. But whatever. Glitch pulse. Your devices can emit a disrupting pulse that causes tech to malfunction. So this can be part of my exocortex or my weapon. So basically I can shoot people with EMPs. Healing mines, don't have them. Shockwave pulse. Your items can release a sudden pulse of force to topple enemies over. You gain the following new mod. Okay, I'm not really using mods a whole lot. Spinning blades. Requires a drone. Your drone can spin around while attacking with its integrated weapons. It gains the spin to win action. Again, this is a very serious game. Spin to win. It can reconfigure itself into a gyroscope and spins around, colliding with anything in range. Your drone deals its melee strike damage to all creatures within a 20-foot emanation. Basic reflex save versus your DC. Holy crap. And then your drone can't use this again for 1d4 rounds. A 20-foot emanation! Give it a laser sword, and suddenly it's turned into Master Yoda. That's it for level 12 feats, though. I don't really see anything that I like there. Was there anything else in here that we wanted to take? Emergency repair, maneuver module, no. Neural upload could be interesting. Recharge. No. Actually, we could go back here to the tactical mods. Either network or share charge. Network was really useful because it means that I can access any computer that my drone is accessing. Share charge means that it requires no batteries for any item. I feel like share charge is kind of the better way to go. Alright, I think I'll do that one. It seems useful. So I'm going to go with beat tactical customization. Share charge. And there we go. So now I can toss a weapon that doesn't even work to my drone, and now it works. It does mean that I might want to reconsider the physical versatility over here, because that means that I would probably want to carry energy weapons instead, because share charge isn't going to work on something that uses bullets. But still, that gets us up to level 12, and that gives us a fully built mechanic. Is it the best mechanic? Probably not. But it is a mechanic. So, yeah, there we go. There are some things that could be a little bit better written. Like, for example, when we made our drone graceful and we got a +2 to dexterity, is that a +2 ranks or just +2 points? I don't know. So that could be worded a bit better, I think. Otherwise, though, like I said, I will go through and I will fill in the rest of this so we can look at it next time. I will try to get the drone the rest of the way filled in as well. And after that, I think we'll start looking at the rest of Starfinder 2nd Edition. But by and large, I think we're more or less done. Also, we'll take a look at the Luminary since MG brought it up. Because it could be fun. I'm not saying we need to build a Luminary character. I'm just saying that we can look at it and see what it's like. So, we can look forward to that next time. For now, I'm going to get out of here. And so, thank you all for coming. This has been rather fun, actually. Again, most of this was review since we learned most of it in Pathfinder, which is a good thing. It means their whole shared framework is working. I just wish some things were a little bit more clear, and maybe they will be when the book finally comes out. So, we'll see then. But, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that before you leave. If you haven't hit the bell icon, do that too. That way you get notifications. I send them all out anyway, but you'll want them regardless. If you know somebody else who's also into tabletop gaming, then go ahead and share this stream with them. Otherwise, if you like what I'm doing here, leave a like on the video, leave a comment down below. But if you're going to leave a comment down below, might I suggest you just join the Discord? Always waiting for new people there. Join the Discord, come to the Behind the Screen channel, let me know what games you want to play and what availability you have, and I'll try to get you into a game. We have Star Trek and Warhammer. Star Trek is running. Warhammer wants to run. I just need one more person. So join us there, come play with us. Otherwise, if I don't see you there, I'll see you back here next time. And until then, take care.